What's good, y'all? The Lakers and the Nuggets just finished up their third game of their first round matchup, and unfortunately for the Lakers, they are now down 0-3 and on the brink of getting swept by the Nuggets in back-to-back postseasons. Last season, the Lakers were the 7th seed. They made it all the way up to the Western Conference Finals to go on and face the Denver Nuggets, where they would eventually get swept. This season, they are again the 7th seed, but are unfortunate enough to face the Nuggets in the first round. It's kind of been a talking point as of recent, but the Lakers are 0-11 versus the Nuggets in their last 11 games. It's insane. They really are the Lakers' kryptonite. Seems like the Lakers can be at least competitive against majority of the teams in the Western Conference, but the Denver Nuggets, not so much. The matchup is so heavy in the Nuggets' favor, it was talked about that the Lakers should lose their first play-in game to avoid the Denver Nuggets. They would rather risk being eliminated from the playoffs entirely before they even made it than go up against the Denver Nuggets. That's how lopsided that is. And before I get into talking about the Lakers, I do want to give some praise to the Denver Nuggets, because it's not easy to sweep a team or to go up 0-3 or to win 11 straight games against them, and that's exactly what the Nuggets are doing. I know I've talked about this before, but Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world by far. He controls every aspect of the game. Whatever he wants to happen, he will make happen, whether that's scoring, playmaking, rebounding. His defense has improved as well. On all facets of the game, Nikola Jokic has his fingerprints on it. And the Nuggets front office has done an amazing job surrounding him with the perfect talent. Of course, Jamal Murray, who even in this Lakers series hasn't been his peak playoff Jamal Murray, but it feels like whenever they need a shot to fall, he will hit it. Of course, he hit the dagger game winner after they came back down 20, and in that fourth quarter also, he was incredible. He is a big shot maker. He'll take those tough shots on the perimeter. He'll play make for you, all around offensive weapon for them alongside with Jokic. And then when you look at their role players, they have some of the best in the league. You have a guy like Michael Porter Jr., who at 6'10" can give you 5, 6, 7 made threes in a game, grab some rebounds as well. His defense is a little shaky, but improving. Aaron Gordon is the guy you look at to be the defensive guy. He's one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. And the chemistry that all of these guys have together, and more specifically with Nikola Jokic, it seems like everyone knows where they need to be and where everyone else is on the court, and it helps them get into this flow state on offense where they can do no wrong. We've seen it in this series and even throughout the regular season as well, where the Nuggets will be trading blows with teams. It'll be close, back and forth, and they'll reach this point where they just go and sprint ahead of the team and just really get the game out of reach. They make it look so effortless, but they just execute to perfection, and it'll give you like 10 possessions in a row where they'll just score. They'll get the open look at 3, then they'll get open rim shot. Jamal Murray will hit a contested, step back mid-range, but it goes in. Like, they just go through these phases where they look unbeatable and they become unbeatable. And that kind of brings us back to LeBron James and the Lakers, because unlike the Nuggets, the Lakers have a lot of flaws to their roster. Throughout the series so far, they haven't had any player give them consistent production besides LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Throughout all of these games, Anthony Davis has been pretty solid for at least 30 points and like around 12 to 15 rebounds. Great stat line. He'll also play incredible defense throughout the game. Great, everything's perfect there. LeBron James, he's been giving them, about 25-point near triple doubles, whether it's like 7 assists, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 6 rebounds, wherever it is, they'll give you about 25, close to 10. Again, great stat line, you would think, right? They should be winning those games. No, because beyond those two guys, they are getting no production. D'Lo had a great game too, where he hit those 7 threes. That's where the Lakers went up 20. They eventually lost that game still somehow. But when you look at his other games beyond that, game 1, he was like 1 for 7 from 3. In this last game, game 3, he was 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. You can't have that from your starting point guard, especially when he is one of your best 3-point shooters and spaces the floor for you, and he goes 0 for 6. Very unacceptable. Austin Reeves has been kind of hit or miss also. He had a pretty decent game 3, but the 3-point shot has not been consistently falling for him, and honestly, the offense all around has not been consistent for him. Rui Hachimura has been averaging 5 points per game. 5 points per game. He's coming off of one of his most efficient scoring seasons of his career. I think he averaged around 12 points per game in the regular season. Drops to 5 points per game. And then when you look at the Lakers bench production, man, it is literally non-existent. Through the first 2 games, the only player to score off their bench was Taurean Prince, and he had a combined 17 points in the first 2 games. In game 3, it was a little bit better. Spencer Dinwiddie gave them a few buckets here and there, but still, the production is just, it's not there. Spencer Dinwiddie, Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, none of them have been able to consistently give them offensive production, and it makes it really, really hard when you literally are just relying on Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You can't win games, those two, versus the Nuggets' elite 5-man starting lineup. And an interesting stat that I saw was if you take out LeBron James' three-point percentage and look at everyone else on the Lakers, they are shooting a combined 27.5% from 3. You can't do anything with that spacing. And I know hindsight is 20/20, and it's very easy to just look back and say, oh, they should have made this, and this move, and they'd still be contenders. But when you look back to that 2020 team that won in the bubble, I mean, they had the blueprint there to still be top contenders now, and they just fumbled it. When the Lakers won in 2020, they had about a 9-man rotation that was like their main staple guys. To run it through real quick, it was LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, Rondo, Caruso, KCP, Dwight, JaVale, and Danny Green. That was the last guy. He slipped my mind. That was the 9. And usually when you win a championship, some of your role players play themselves up into bigger contracts where you can't re-sign them, and that's what happened. They had a few guys walk in free agency after they won, those guys being Danny Green, Rondo, Dwight, and JaVale. Makes sense though, those 4 guys were the older guys in their rotation, obviously besides LeBron James, but they still kept their main 5 guys right there. It's still a really solid core to really work off of. Then in 2021, they had a pretty injury-riddled season. You know, LeBron missed some time, Anthony Davis missed some time, even in the playoffs when they went against the eventual champion Phoenix Suns in the first round. Anthony Davis was nowhere near fully healthy in there. They lost in that first round, and I think the Lakers really overreacted because if you really want to, follow the breadcrumbs all the way back, this is where I think it really sparks, and that is when they traded Kyle Kuzma and KCP along with a few other things for Russell Westbrook. And this is not any hate on Russ. I want to make sure that is clear. Obviously we saw now with the Clippers, he's still more than capable of contributing to a winning team and trying to win championships. And I wish the best for Russ. It was just a questionable fit. And even I remember when the trade first went down, I at first was like, oh, cool, good trade. Hindsight, again, 2020, was not a good trade. But I did have questions about the fit, and that's exactly what we saw. They were going for names instead of fit. In this same offseason, they let Alex Caruso walk, and they went and signed guys like Carmelo Anthony and Trevor Ariza. Again, guys where they're more going for the names than the fit, in my opinion. But it's just tough to look back at that offseason and think, what if they did keep those guys? Because right now, if their roster with those guys kept intact, it would be looking pretty good. I would assume their starting lineup would be Austin Reeves, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, Bron, and Anthony Davis off their bench with Caruso, Rui Hachimura, and then kind of just fill in the gaps right there. I don't know about you guys though, that top 7 is very, very good. Obviously, you can't go back in time and reverse the trade and, get Kuzma and KCP back on the roster and everything, but I'm really just thinking about it. They would be really, really good. They'd have great perimeter defense, still anchored by Anthony Davis. They'd have more shooting around them. It's just more of a complete team with some depth than just your top guys and a few role players sprinkled out here and there, because that's what we're seeing right now. And like I said, the 2 guys cannot beat the 5 guys. And honestly, I don't really know where the Lakers go from here. There's reports that D'Angelo Russell is going to decline his player option. So that means that they can't really get anything out of him unless they do a sign and trade. But still then, the return is usually nothing crazy. You got to start to wonder, is Bron going to leave? Bronny is declaring for the draft. Maybe a team drafts Bronny and then LeBron's like, all right, bet, I'm out. This is a bad situation anyway. I might as well leave. That speculation is for another day and another video though. As you guys are seeing this later tonight, the Lakers might get the sweep done. They could win a game in crypto. I do think that there is a possibility they pull one out, but I don't see this series going past Game 5 in Denver, man. It's almost impossible to beat the Nuggets down there in Denver. It's looking slow for the Lakers. It's looking slow for LeBron. As a LeBron fan, this definitely does suck. But it is what it is, man. Nikola Jokic is one of the best players I've ever seen. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.